All right, well, welcome to the Town Square Podcast. Today,
Yes.
we are joined by the 2024-2025 Newton County Schools Teacher of the
Let's
Year,
go.
Miss Taylor Moody. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And congratulations for that honor. You know,
Yeah.
we know that you've been sitting with it for a minute here, but that's an awesome thing.
Yep. So you were just about to explain to us the years, because I always get
Right.
tripped up on you were selected as the Teacher of the Year for the Career Academy 2024.
Yeah, so for the 2024-2025 school year, I was
Right.
the Newton College and Career Teacher of the Year. Then you go into the running for the 2025 Newton County Teacher of the Year.
Okay.
And then after I won that title, then I became the 2026 finalist for the Georgia Teacher of the Year.
Okay.
She's
Gotcha.
going for the triple crown, man. That's what I'm talking about. Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome stuff. So listen, those are impressive accolades for somebody who says that they never imagined being a teacher. So like I gotta ask you about your journey. Like share, not only just your early struggles and maybe some unexpected detours, but like how did you even just get to the place of not going to do this to, yeah, this is what I want my career to be?
Yeah, so I mean, as a child, I can still vividly remember like sitting at my little Tykes table. I don't know if
Mhm.
your children had those little
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
plastic
Oh,
tables
yeah.
with my little stuffed animals or whatever,
Yes.
and like fake grading, made up spelling tests. Like
Full
I did that.
classroom.
Yeah,
I
like
love
that
it.
was me. That was my personality. But then throughout high school, I'm a first generation college graduate. So I
Awesome.
knew like I equated success with this idea of money.
Hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like I want to make the big bucks
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
provide for my family. And so I went to UGA. I was a math major,
Oh, wow.
even though I teach English language arts.
That is
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Stop the presses.
No.
I know. People think it's crazy.
Yeah, let me earmark that and come back to that later. So yes, remind me to ask about
Of
that later.
course.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Busy Bee Exterminators. Are you tired of bugs and mosquitoes? Then give Busy Bee a call. Busy Bee is locally owned and operated and takes great pride in hiring local technicians to service your home or your office. Personally, I've trusted Busy Bee to take care of unwanted pests for me the last 20 years here at Eastridge Church. Bug and mosquito season is right around the corner, so give Busy Bee a call today at 770-787-3718. That's 770-787-3718. Or you can get a quote online by going to busybeeexterminators.com. That's busy, B-I-Z-Z-Y, busybeeexterminators.com. A huge thanks to Busy Bee for sponsoring this episode.
So yeah, I spent the first 2 years, I'm going to be a math major. I'm going to be a real estate lawyer. I was working during college at a law firm. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then sophomore year, I got sick with, I had a lot of fluid build up behind my eyes. I started losing my vision. I
Oh,
was
no.
getting migraines. So I started seeing a specialist at Emory, and I was on like all this treatment and medicine. And in that's when I realized, like, from the medication, like, I was struggling to process my emotions. Like, I was struggling to read and write. Like, it just slowed down everything in my body.
Wow.
And so, like, through that process, I spent a lot of time in tutoring sessions at college. Like, they had to help me. And then I started taking creative writing classes. And that's when I slowly ditched the math major. And so, yeah.
Good.
I just began to see like the power of literacy, and I knew like I wanted to be on the other side of that and help students see like what it feels like when you can't read and write, and then the true feeling when you learn to read and write, and empower them through that. Creative writing was an outlet. I've published poems
Wow.
from that difficult time in my life. And so seeing like how empowering that became, like I wanted others to see that too. And so that's when I kind of switched and majored in English education. So
That is amazing.
Well, did they find the source of the issue, or are you?
yeah, so I
Okay.
have extremely tiny veins in my body, and it was building fluid behind my eyes.
Oh my.
And so the medicine and the spinal taps kind of drained it. So I've been good so far. I regained most of my vision. So yeah, I've been good since college.
Wow, what a
Mhm.
crazy time though
Yeah.
that for something like that to happen when you're in the
In the
throes of
midst, in
college.
the
Yeah.
throes of
Right.
college. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
That is
And
amazing.
that kind of helped you then figure out
Yeah, so
through
I
that
knew like
process.
English education was my jam. I
Mhm.
wanted students, to learn to read and write. I wanted to empower their voices, to learn what writing can do for them. And then I started my student teaching, and I had lost 2 students to suicide within 2 weeks of each
Oh my
other.
goodness.
Wow.
Yes, so a lot of people don't know that, but that's really what solidified, like, this is this is a calling for me.
Right, right.
I tell people all the time teaching is my ministry,
Yeah.
but, I remember when that had happened, and it was local, but when that had happened, I went home and I was like, college didn't prepare me for anything of the
No.
sorts.
Right.
Like, that was not written in the curriculum, how to deal with
Exactly.
that. They just taught me how to teach someone how to do English.
Mhm.
And I remember talking to my mom, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And she told me, like, you have to make a decision. Like, she's like, it's beyond grading and lesson plans.
Right.
Like,
Mm.
you have to be more for them. And so ever since then, it became my calling, and it wasn't just literacy wasn't just a subject. It became my passion, and
Mhm.
teaching became my purpose. And I knew for the rest of my life I wanted to show up for kids and be their voice of reason. So
Man, that's great.
that's what landed me here.
Wow, and it is a calling for sure, is a vocation. And you must be pretty good at it.
Gotta be. Got to be.
If your peers and then all these other different organizations now are seeing your work and noticing you, but you were named. I just kind of love to know like what it was like. Like what was it like when you were named? The county teacher of the year, but then to be a finalist for the Georgia Teacher of the Year. Like Superintendent Richard Woods surprised
Exactly.
you, right? Like
He did.
what was that like?
So even just making it out of the building is hard. We have great people in our school system. And at that time when I was named, I had only been teaching for 4 years
Wow. Okay.
amongst peers who have been teaching
Right.
20 years. So, and imposter syndrome is real. And I was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
me? Y'all
Yeah.
want me to do this?
And
Yeah.
at the Career Academy, right? Like where
And like
there's
there's top notch.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
my colleagues are amazing, but just that they viewed me
Mhm.
as amazing and worthy of that title, and then to win. I remember even being announced top 3. I was like, I'm not winning that. Like,
Yeah.
and they're phenomenal teachers in that. It's very competitive. So when I was just in pure shock that night, and then when Superintendent Woods walked in, I don't even think I could cry because I was in pure like I thought I was gonna throw up. I was like, the county brought like 15 people in.
Uh-huh.
The state superintendent brought all his people in, and me and my students are looking at each other like, this isn't real life. This is not. But it's such an honor, and I just love it so much that people viewed me like my hard work was finally seen.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I want others to make sure they're seen. Like it's more than a title.
Mhm.
So
I love how they surprise y'all with the whole thing. Like I that is just to me I mean, it's one thing, you get an email or somebody calls you on the phone, but like they do the
yeah.
whole
And it's very like secretive.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
at the top 3, like they called my family and invited them. But at the state level, the principal couldn't even tell my colleagues. It's so
Wow.
top secret.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Mm.
my family, I remember that's when I finally broke down. I left the room. I was like, I gotta go FaceTime my family. And that's when it hit me. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is real.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it's very cool.
That's awesome. So now listen, I have known you for a grand total of about 30 minutes, and I already know you're a unicorn. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't know many people who are adept at math and English at the same time. We journalists, I'm a journalist, so one of the running jokes in our industry is we are journalists because we suck at math. And so I just want to know, how did you like make that transition? Like, how did it go from math major to I'm championing literacy and English? What I think is great, but
Mhm.
just how did you kind of make that bridge to that? That you don't see that often.
Yeah, and I love to tell my students that because especially I teach a lot of the STEM students and they're very math minded.
Yeah.
So when I tell them that, like they're kind of like, okay, she does know what she's talking about. But I was great at math in high school, so I thought like I wanted to do math. I had great math teachers. That's probably a lot, but I had like 104s in my classes in college, and I was like, I can't teach this all day. Like I need something that's
Yeah.
adventurous
Yeah.
or has more freedom, like
Yeah.
like push my students to do more. Like
Yeah.
I can't be bound to the perfect score.
Yeah.
Like I needed more opinionated, like let them do the self-learning. And so
Right.
then I was like, and then I was in those creative writing classes and saw like what could happen when you put pen to paper, not
Yeah.
just like for grades, but like personally in your life, what it'll do. So that's when I made the switch.
I mean, because there's only so many ways you can unpack an equation.
Right. I told them, I was like, I didn't want to be bored all day teaching it.
Right.
Only one answer. You can give them a discussion prompt and you get 25 different answers. Like
Right.
that's fun.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, listen, you as the NCS Teacher of the Year, you've had a lot of speaking engagements. You've had a lot of and now hearing, you have so much to talk about, so many experiences. What were some of the highlights of your experience representing teachers across the district this past year?
So I learned this year that I do love public speaking, and people told me I was good at it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I'm usually like shy unless I'm with my with my students in the classroom. But I got invited to speak at a lot of places. But this past summer, I got to speak to the new teachers, and just seeing that at that point, I'd only been teaching 5 years, that like I could impact someone who had been teaching
Wow.
way longer than me. Like they were crying, coming up, hugging me, telling them
wow.
like how much my words mattered. And even still, like they text me checking in. Like some of them are having a rough first year and like looking to me for advice.
Yeah.
And what I always tell them is like, you do not have to be perfect to be powerful. And that's kind of
That's
been my
good.
motto this year.
Write that down, Trey. That's shareable right
Yeah,
there,
that's a
man.
bumper sticker.
Don't have to be perfect to be powerful. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. That's good stuff.
So,
That's good stuff.
What are like? You also did some advisory roles or something? Like,
Yeah, so I got to be, I thought it was super cool that at the same time all of this was happening, Newton County started their first teacher advisory committee. So I got to serve as one of the Newton County voices on that. Currently, so the 2026 state finalists, they will now serve on the Georgia state level advisory committees and kind of be a voice for teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm also on the ELA advisory committee for Georgia, which has been fun because ELA just got brand new standards.
Right.
So it is really cool being able to bring all what I'm learning at the state level back to the county level, and still, even though my duties have ended, I'm still carrying on some important things.
Well, and teachers need some advocates, so it's good to have boots on the ground, folks in there who can help guide some of that those standards and how they're developed and all those things at the state level. Well, if I'm doing my math right, you said you've been teaching 5 or 6 years now.
So this is my 6th year.
You're in your 6th year.
I'm in my 6th year right now.
So you kind of came into this thing right at the pandemic, right?
Literally, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Like your first year teaching was 2020?
So I was in the midst of student teaching when the world shut down. I still remember it. We were talking about it the other day. It was the Friday the 13th. And then we went home. I finished I was getting my master's and my teaching degree at the same time. We finished on Zoom, never saw those kids again.
Wow.
And then I started my first year. I mean, for a while, if I remember 2020, nobody was in person. And then slowly the rollout started and I had about half on Zoom and then half. So yeah, I started my year teaching black boxes and muted microphones. That's when I was like, all right. I was like, I really thought somebody was pranking me at that point. I was like, where are the cameras at? Because it was like something was trying to keep me from teaching. Because it was like all these bad things. But I survived.
Yeah, you did. So what were some of the biggest challenges other than just trying to keep the kids' attention? I mean, you were teaching ELA over Zoom?
Yes, over a computer screen. As a first-year teacher who I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I thought at the time.
Gosh.
But what I did learn was, all the veterans were like, oh, she knows technology. Let's go ask her for help.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
yeah.
You were the resident tech expert in the building. Okay.
But what I learned, and it wasn't just 2020. I think 2020 and the pandemic just spotlighted it, but mental health is real. And our students are struggling even more than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so of course, I did the best I could teaching them, but we had a lot of fun, and I would even hold after hours on Zoom just so we could talk and have that socialization because it was huge. And the amount of comments I got, like you have no idea how much I needed that. So yeah, it really spotlighted mental health and what students truly need. And that's really when I was like, all right, we're teaching human beings.
Yes.
We're not teaching just, data points and different levels. So
So you would have these after class moments. So you're like, the Zoom stays open. Hey guys, we're done with
If
the
you wanna
teaching
hang
now.
out.
If you want to just
Yeah.
chat,
yeah.
and that's where you were able to like build relationships. And so how does that translate now? Are you able to still kind of do that same
Absolutely.
thing?
So one of the cool things though that I did, and I'll never forget. So we still got like observed for our teaks during COVID and
Sure.
Zoom.
Teaks for people who
So
are
like all
listening.
the
Right.
Teaks or
while we're on Zoom, so they
teacher
would,
evaluation.
There
yeah,
you go.
something or
teacher
other.
evaluation,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So like randomly, I would be like, I'd see like my principal's name pop in the waiting room. I'm like, ah. So one time I was in the middle of show and tell in 10th grade
And,
ELA.
oh my.
I was like, we just needed something. Like they
Right.
weren't turning their screens on. So I was like, all right, go get your pet
Yeah.
and bring it to the screen.
Yeah.
And well, my assistant principal, Dr. Daniel, was in there observing me, and right in the middle, I was like, you know what? He needs to see,
Yeah,
like, he needs to see this.
Exactly.
And I remember one of my students had his possum
Oh,
on the
no.
screen, and he was
A
just
pet possum.
a pet possum.
My God.
That thing will
So-
eat your face off.
My God. Yeah. That's wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, so building relationships
That's
has
awesome.
been my top priority even now. So we start every class fist bumps. I don't go straight into any of the learning until we do celebrations and
Nice.
little small group discussions, and it goes a long way. And knowing them by name. I strive to know everyone's name by
Yes.
the first week of school.
Yeah.
So
This episode of the Town Square Podcast is brought to you by our friend Leanne Long at RE/MAX Covington.
And when it comes to buying or selling a home, experience matters. And nobody brings more experience to the table than Leanne Long. With over 37 years in real estate and more than 25 years as a leading realtor in the East Metro Atlanta market, Leanne is the name families across Newton Rockdale, Walton Morgan, Jasper, and Oconee counties trust.
Yeah, Leanne is more than just an agent. She's a professional. A member of the RE/MAX Hall of Fame and honored as Realtor of the Year. Her expertise in negotiations, property management, and even specialized transactions like short sales and foreclosures means that you're in the very best hands. Whether you're selling and want the highest return, or if you're searching for your dream home, Leanne's can-do attitude and proven results will guide you every step of the way.
Now, Leanne is the broker, owner, and leader of the team at RE/MAX around Atlanta East in Covington, and she's built a reputation for professionalism, integrity, and putting her clients first.
So if you're ready to make your next move, choose the realtor who knows this market inside and out.
Call Leanne Long at RE/MAX around Atlanta East in Covington today at 770-851-0380. You need to hear that again, don't you? 770-851-0380, or visit her online at leannelong.com.
Well, it shows you care. And then, there's the old adage that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it
Right.
sounds like you're creating that environment where they can trust and they feel like they want to be there and
absolutely.
you want them to be there. And so
Well,
I'm
that
sure that gives you
matters.
that open door.
That matters. That definitely matters. I want to ask you this. The quick save CPR thing. Like, what can you describe the moment when your students created that quick save CPR mat and became finalists in the Samsung for Tomorrow competition? Like, what was that like, and what do you feel like that does? I guess even for the power project based and real world learning. Like, unpack that moment, that time for us.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm like a big advocate on is I know not every single student in my classroom is going to go be an English teacher.
Yeah.
But they are going to need to know how to read and write no matter what they do. And we're also working against like education struggles right now because we're not teaching students who can sit all day bound to a classroom in a textbook.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took all the ELA standards we were working on, put it in that project, and we have a lot of pathways. So we had healthcare, engineering, like there's so many opportunities at our school. And I gave them their topic to create an innovation that would help solve an issue, either in healthcare or the community. And so that group, all 4 of them were healthcare based, created that. And they even were named Youth of the Year. I don't know if you know that. They were Youth of the
Not
Year
know
for Newton
that.
County.
Really?
Yes, so they got named Youth of the Year for Newton County. But this past year, we had a state winner. We weren't just
What?
state finalists, we were
Oh.
state winners.
Wow.
And they created a headache patch. And so they made it past the finalist round and actually they won for the entire state of Georgia. Again, another real world innovation. So
Gee.
All right, hang on. I want to ask you a couple of questions on this thing because
Let me get on the headache
I want
patch
a headache
because
patch.
listen, I had these migraines kick in and they'd be like, man.
So the quick save CPR. So for folks listening who might not be aware, the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow is like a competition, and they give you these scenarios, right? Like you have to be innovative to solve some problem, right, that hasn't been solved.
Pretty much.
All right,
That's
and
the prompt. Yeah.
This quick save CPR mat, like what exactly did it do, or was it supposed to do? Like, what is the concept of a CPR mat?
Yeah, so one of the issues they identified, and they actually connected to Newton County, and it was when Newton County was kind of struggling with ambulances and getting to patients on time. So that was kind of the community problem they focused on. And then the research that they did and they found was that a lot of people don't know, they think they know CPR, but in the moment they do it incorrectly.
Yeah.
And so to improve the numbers of saving lives while we wait on ambulances or whatever, they created this mat and it lays on top of the patient. And with engineering, they got with the engineering teacher and pathway and they helped us code it. And so it would basically prompt you, show you where to place your hands. It'll do the song for you. It'll light up if you're pressing too hard. It'll be green if you're doing it correctly and kind of tell you
Is the song
pause.
Staying Alive?
Yeah.
Staying
Oh my
alive.
No,
gosh.
literally.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yes.
from
Is
Office,
that
man.
really the
That's
song?
what they teach you. Yeah, in CPR training, they
See?
teach you that song.
You know, I was kidding.
Yes.
That's wild.
Staying alive.
Yeah, that's what they teach you.
Wow.
Still.
But now you know what though? I can absolutely. I'll be honest with you. I can absolutely see the benefit in that because for me, learning CPR is, I don't know if anybody else has ever thought that, but it's kind of anxiety inducing for me because I don't know if I'm doing this right. And even when I was taking the class, I was like, I've got the dummy thing here and I'm like, well, I'm doing what you say, but how do I know that how do I know I'm doing this the right way?
Right.
And so if I was having that kind of anxiety just in that kind of traditional way of learning it, I mean, multiply that by 100 when you're actually trying
I was going
to
to say in the moment,
in the-
I
Life and
feel like
death.
I would forget everything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So something like that is okay, you're telling me I'm being too heavy-handed now, so let me
Right,
lift
yeah.
and then that creates
Or when to
muscle memory
pause.
and all. Yeah, so that's awesome.
That's brilliant.
That is,
Isn't that
I
brilliant?
mean, a group of 17-year-olds. I
In
mean, it's
Newton County
amazing
schools.
in Newton County schools.
That is crazy. I mean, and it just, I don't know, that sounds maybe cheesy and cliche, but I mean, it just, again, to me, proves just how powerful it is to have not only dedicated teachers, but then teachers who are not afraid to challenge their students and stretch them to do things that you don't even sometimes you take for granted that these kids can do.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure they
amazing.
were version 1.0 and 2.0 didn't work like they wanted it to, and all those things.
Absolutely.
So you learn how to overcome that failure, and you've introduced. Dr. Bradley was talking about this. This will air. Dr. Bradley in that episode will air later.
Yes,
but earlier he was just in that same seat, and he was talking about how we need to create classroom opportunities for failure that aren't punitive, right?
Yes.
They need to be able. Kids need to be able to see, how do I fix this thing? Robotics was his example. How do I put this thing together and, it failed. Well, we didn't fail.
No.
It just, let's figure out now how to do it together. Let's work together. What about this headache patch? What is that about?
Yeah,
So same project. So it was, some of them were STEM students, some of them are not, but we use an engineering thinking process. So it's that whole idea of at the end, the tinkering, the fixing, the revising, what feedback did I get? That was huge in these projects. And so this year we did it again, and they looked up the community problem they focused on was people abusing like ibuprofen and Advil. And so they're like, what's an alternative to it? And reaching a broader audience. So they worked again with our awesome engineering pathway and designed a patch that would like stimulate. I told them, I was with them the whole step of the way, but I was like, I'm not in medicine and I'm not in engineering. So these
Right.
terms are over
Right.
my head.
Yeah.
Math
But
and English.
Right.
Math and
math
English. I
and
got you.
English. I was like, these words, but some kind of like vein in the back of your neck that it would like stimulate it and send some kind of waves to the brain. And we actually, so when we were named a state winner for that one, we invited the chief medical officer from Piedmont, and he came in and kind of mentored them.
Wow.
So it was really cool.
Listen to these things, man. Partnerships in our community.
Dude,
Yes.
this is dope. Let me ask you. So, like these things they've created, like are they marketable? Can they?
Not
like,
yet.
Like, what is the process?
So
with
that's
that?
the cool thing. So I had them junior year, and then the next year in their senior year, they take them and keep working on them.
Mhm.
But we did have a few products that were actually, working. But the chief medical officer pretty much was like, if you figure out how to get this fully working, and he's like, put a patent on it because
Yeah.
you'll have
That is-
everyone buying it.
That is so amazing.
Isn't that crazy? And just yesterday, the Human Health and
I know it's
JFK,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
JFK, RFK.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had this big autism announcement where they were potentially linking it to the use of Tylenol by pregnant women. When they were using it at a specific time, if they were
Interesting,
using Tylenol,
yeah.
it could be a trigger to autism. Now, there's still probably a lot to discuss on
Sure.
that. But think if they had a headache patch where the Tylenol is not an
Throw
issue.
the Tylenol out the window, man. I don't need it.
Seriously, think about like that could be a game changer
That
for
is-
autism, even right?
Absolutely.
Like who even knew? that that's a
Absolutely, it
thing?
can be a game changer for so many things. That is just, I'm still stuck there because I'm so impressed by the
I know.
fact that
I
These are-
couldn't have
these are
thought of that's what I'm saying.
students.
17-year-old students, like,
yes,
yeah.
And
it's
people think,
impressive.
oh, what's wrong with our test scores? Like, do you see what's happening in Newton County?
don't even get me
Oh my
started on
goodness.
that, man.
Yeah.
These kids are changing the world.
It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than the
Man.
test scores, man. The test scores are important, but I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much. Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, you clearly are able to connect with your students in a unique way, or maybe just we'd say a great teacher. A great teacher is able to connect with their students like that. What are some of in that connection, some of the emotional or social issues that you're seeing? You said mental health issues are a thing. Like what can you kind of point to? Like what are some of the struggles these kids are going through? And maybe we'll get to maybe even what kind of contributes to that.
Yeah, it's crazy because this is a lot of the topics happening in our classroom right now that we've been talking about. We actually read an article yesterday called "Let Teenagers Try Adulthood," and some of them were like, "Yeah," and some of them were like, "No."
I'm good.
Yeah, but
Not yet.
Yeah.
but what boiled in that passage we read was from 1999, and we were talking about how those issues are still prevalent in
Mhm.
2025, and it is mental health, and they were talking about how amplified it is now with social media,
Yes.
and like what school would look like if we didn't have social media. So I don't have any solution to those problems, but mental health is real, and it's only increasingly getting worse. So yeah.
What are you seeing? Like, what is it just like overall kind of malaise or depression, or are they
Yes, a
acting
lot
out,
of
or
anxiety.
is that the main one?
Yes,
Just,
anxiety, which often leads to the depression, but lots of anxieties. Um, I don't know if it goes. A lot of them, like especially being in STEM and stuff, they have these anxieties about getting perfect test scores and getting into certain colleges, and it
Yeah.
really, you don't think at high school level they're thinking about those things, but they are.
Yeah.
They really are.
And it seems that, obviously I'm no mental health expert, but I've had some things with my own journeys and my,
Mhm.
family and whatnot. It feels like anxiety is kind of like a gateway into other
Yes.
mental
Sure.
health, some of the more, severe type things.
Yeah.
But a lot of it starts with untreated anxiety. And it's unfortunate that you talk about what school be like without social media. I'm like, yeah, me and Trey can tell you about that because I mean, I graduated high school in 1998. I can absolutely tell you what school was like before social media.
I can promise you, I'm
Yeah.
glad it didn't exist.
I'm trying to tell you, brother.
Because-
Listen. I don't know. We might not be sitting here today if
No.
if it did. But I also will say that I think social media awareness didn't really exist like it did back then. I mean, I could remember, you tell your parents back in the 80s and 90s, I feel depressed. Boy, go outside and
right.
play basketball or something,
Go
and
do something.
maybe that's not what it is. I mean, I had for years, and I'm not, love you, Mom, not throwing nobody under the bus, but I didn't find out till I was like in almost 40 that I had undiagnosed ADHD. And so I went through school, people saying, "Oh, you're just lazy. You don't, you don't want to focus. You just want to go play video games all day." And it was like, no, not really. Like I couldn't explain it. There was like a block in my brain, even when I was trying to concentrate. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
And then come to find out, it's because ADHD. And so, like, if we had more of that kind of awareness back then, man, how could it have changed the lives of some of our students even back then? So I'm glad that there's more awareness of it today, because, like you said, Taylor, like social media just it just exponentializes, if I can use that as a word.
I think we're probably just now
Yeah.
beginning to see,
Yeah.
At 10 years or 15 years of social media, the actual effects now on kids.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me ask you this, kind of piggybacking on that. You've already been a well-decorated teacher early on in your career. What do you feel like are kind of like the biggest strengths and maybe some of the greatest challenges for public education in general, but then, hone the microscope in the Newton County specific? Like, what do you feel like are some of the greatest strengths of public education, but then also the challenges that you're facing most right now?
I love this question because when I made it to the top 10 for Georgia Teacher of the Year, we had to do a 3-minute elevator speech in front of the superintendent,
Wow.
Dr. Woods, and all
Really?
his people on the power of public education.
Wow.
So I spent a lot of time thinking about that.
So you're prepared for this
I'm
question.
prepared, and I'm a product
3
of
minutes.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm a product of public education, and like I said, I'm a first-generation college student, so public education is powerful in itself. But just seeing students, especially in Newton County, it's very diverse in Newton County, but students who don't have access to things others do, and they graduate and make more money than I do. Like, that's the power of public education.
Yeah.
Like, students who were told they would not amount to anything are out there being engineers. I had this one little girl, she was struggling. It was right after the COVID year, I would say 2021. Her mom was making her move schools, and she wrote me a note. And she said, "Thank you for believing in me when no one else did."
Wow.
And last week on Facebook, she graduated from like naval aviation school.
Oh my.
Like, that is the power of public education to
That's
me, like
amazing.
creating these opportunities and access that I wish everyone had across the country.
Absolutely.
So are there some things when we discuss, and I know I'm a board member, so I don't want you to feel like this is weird at all. We're just talking, and let's solve these problems. Let's think about them and solve them. We do hear about access being an issue, from something as simple as junior ROTC, not at every school, for a long time, to not everyone having access to like things at the STEM Academy, STEM Academy, the Career Academy. There's so many.
Both,
all these
the
academies.
STEAM,
Yeah.
You are in a privileged place there. I don't mean to use that word incorrectly, but you are in a place where almost every pathway is there, right? Like, you have all these things, and not every school has that. Any ideas? Like, how do we do that? How do we get all of our schools to have that kind of access?
That is a huge thing. Equitable, access across Newton County schools. I wish I had the answer. We barely can keep teachers in the courses we have.
Yeah.
So how are we going to add more pathways and get even more teachers? And a lot of them are industry based. So, like, how do we pull them from the industry to come teach some of these workforce pathways?
Yeah.
And a lot of them will tell you, like, it don't pay me enough. Like, I'm making more in the industry world. So I think in general, and like I'm going to go back to that passage, the Let Teenagers Try Adulthood. It was in 1999 talking about how the education system was a little outdated. So here we are, 2025. It's especially outdated.
Yeah.
So it's like how, until we rethink, the system itself, I don't know that we're going to have or be able to bring in all the pathways we want to across the board.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we're, when you can make $175,000 in the world doing this thing, and he's like, well, but can you come teach for half
teach
of that?
it? Yes.
Right.
And I do think that is it. I've heard it straight out of their mouths, like, especially like construction pathways, engineering pathways, like it's hard.
Yeah.
You have to find someone who truly loves teaching students to come willing to leave.
And see, that's your story, right? Like it took you interacting with someone that was tutoring you for you to catch that kind of, wait a minute, this is my calling. I wonder how we're able to do that without every person who goes into the field having some sort of trauma or tragic incident where they're like, oh, now I see.
Yeah.
Like, how can there's got to be a way where we teaching young
teachers
people
more.
Just more than the money.
Teachers more.
What he said.
Listen, I know it's multi-layered. We talk about being the messy middle, right? I'm stepping in it now. Pay teachers. I know there's more than money, but can I soapbox for about 30 seconds?
Go for it.
I look at, and I'm a sports guy, so I love sports and I love sports reporting and all that. That's great. But like at the end of the day, our world doesn't rise and fall on whether or not, Michael Penix Jr. throws an interception for the Atlanta Falcons and they threw 2 of them on Sunday. I don't know how they got shut out by Carolina. That's another story.
Please.
But even with that, like I look at that game, I watch it, I said Falcons suck, I turned it off TV and I went on about my business, right? But teachers who are literally shaping minds and shaping and inculcating these kids with the things they need to be next, our next leaders, our next whatever, they shouldn't be. I'm not necessarily saying, I'm sure teachers wouldn't mind if they were getting NBA and NFL contracts, but I'm not saying pay them millions, but I'm just saying pay them something to where it entices them to want to stay and to deal with all that. Can I get an amen, Taylor? Like,
absolutely.
Am I barking up the right tree here?
Absolutely.
I appreciate the soapbox. Let me throw this in here.
Yeah.
Because there is a benefit that people often miss. And this is something that as my wife, she's on her 30th year. And so this is her last year. She's ready to retire.
Oh, she's okay.
She's 30 years into it. So she's seen a lot change. And so she needs to retire. Like she would tell you, it's outgrown me. It's time for me to move on. The methods, she still can be very good at what she does, but it's just totally different than it used to be. So for her mental health and wellness, she needs to step away and go do something else. But here's the wonderful part. And here's my sales pitch right here. There's this thing that school systems still have called a pension.
Very true.
And I'm telling you,
very true.
If you can put in the 30 years, you get paid for life. Like, just think about that. Like, this is something that's foreign to a lot of the new generation. They're like, wait a minute, you can do a job for 30 years and then they'll still pay you while you're not doing the job anymore. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
That's like not just a retirement. It's like you get a pension. Like you get a guaranteed check for the rest of your life. That is something that's pretty cool. That is a benefit, but it's often overlooked. But when you get to my age where you're going, what are you going to do next? You're like, wait a minute, we got a little breathing room here because you're getting 60 or 70% of your income for the rest of your life. Like that's pretty nice. This episode is brought to you by Busy Bee Exterminators. Are you tired of bugs and mosquitoes? Then give Busy Bee a call. Busy Bee is locally owned and operated and takes great pride in hiring local technicians to service your home or your office. Personally, I've trusted Busy Bee to take care of unwanted pests for me the last 20 years here at East Ridge Church. Bug and mosquito season is right around the corner, so give Busy Bee a call today at 770-787-3718. That's 770-787-3718. Or you can get a quote online by going to busybeeexterminators.com. That's busy, B-I-Z-Z-Y, busybeeexterminators.com. A huge thanks to Busy Bee for sponsoring this episode.
And teacher, they gonna survive 30 years though. That's the current conditions.
That
Oh,
is.
see, listen, Taylor's
Teacher
like,
burnout
I'm
is real.
telling you, it is
It
real.
is.
That is a
It
real
is
deal.
absolutely real, man. Like, but that you're right. I think this. I think all of this is basically us saying this all falls into the category of things that are easy to say that we need. We need to do this,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
How to
much
do
more
it.
difficult
Right.
than it meets the
Mhm.
eye, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's why I'm. You'll never see. I am a big advocate of teachers, man, because
Mhm.
y'all do talk about doing more with less. You know, not just. I'm not dogging on Newton County schools.
No.
I'm just saying this is all over.
Oh yeah.
Doing more with less than anybody. Y'all are the poster childs for the poster children for that. But
Mhm.
that's awesome. I do want to ask you this. You know, Dr. Quentin Morrow was just named 2025, 26 Teacher of the Year. What advice would you give Dr. Morrow as she prepares for this next chapter? What would you say to her?
So she's already reached out, like
Really?
eager. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm super excited to work to get to work alongside her this year and support her. But this title, the Newton County title, like I told them, I never realized how drastically it would change my life. I mean,
Mhm.
I have
Really?
connections at the state level. If
Wow.
I'm still in contact, like we have our group chat running from the top 10 that happened in May, still going today.
Wow.
We still check on each other.
That's awesome.
So like take it seriously. Like it's more than just a title. It's an honor, but it's also a responsibility.
Mhm.
You're the voice of 23 schools in Newton County. Like use it well,
Yeah.
lean into it. People are proud of you. But like opportunities like this, like get out there and use your voice. I want her to tell the stories of Newton County because
Mhm.
you log on social media and Newton County is bad, blah, blah, blah. But there are powerful things happening in our school system,
Yes.
and we have to get those stories out
Mhm.
there.
Yes.
Teachers are doing amazing things. Students are doing amazing things. So just telling the stories of Newton County with pride, like that is my biggest advice,
Mm.
and lean into it with confidence.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, that's great. So, in your time as the teacher of your 6 years of teaching, what is there like a note that still hangs on the wall? Do you have anything that sits on the refrigerator or on a cork board? Do you know what that is? You know what a cork board is?
I do.
Okay. That's what I went old school.
Dating yourself,
Some
man.
push
I
pins.
do.
Dating yourself. Cork. I even had to think about that for a minute. Like, what's a
What is
cork?
it?
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like something that just really kind of warms your heart or reminds you why you do what you do.
Absolutely, and it's actually my biggest advice I give new teachers is to save every single note you get and
Yeah.
card. But I always go back to the student I mentioned earlier, that note. Thank you for believing in me when nobody else did. Because
Mhm.
if that's all that you got from me,
Yeah.
that's amazing. You might
Mhm.
not have listened to the lessons, but if you saw that you were important and that you were somebody, my job is done. Like,
Game changer.
so I save all of them. That was from 2021. It seems not that far ago,
Mhm.
but I still have all of them. That's the one that I have hanging. It's not a cork board, but it's magnetized.
Not a cork board, Trey.
It's not a cork board, but
Let's not
it's
use that term again.
magnetized
Uh-huh.
on my wall.
Oh, that's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, as we wrap it up here, and this has been an amazing conversation. How can parents, community members, even former students, how can they better support teachers like yourself?
Good question. Yeah.
I love that. Honestly, just getting connected, like having parents show up to the school, like showing students that they have a community around them that supports them. I have amazing parents in Newton County that I work with
Mhm.
because if I have any issues, it's fixed the next day.
Yeah.
Like, do you need more supplies? I got you. Like,
Oh,
I've had
man, that's
great
great.
parents, so I'm gonna shout them out. Community members, I've already reached out to a few this year. I love doing community-based projects. So
Awesome.
anybody in the community that wants to come do a project with the schools, like
Yeah.
please jump on it. Or even just coming to speak to the kids is super important. We have a lot of community partnerships already, especially at the Career Academy, but I would love for more of those partnerships to go across the other schools. So that would be the biggest thing, like pour in, show up, come to all the community events we host.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm ready to do a community-based project tomorrow. So
Man.
if you want to invite us in and let my
Yes.
students come see, I would love that.
Listen,
I
like,
love it.
this is an ELA teacher, but she's saying, hey, people out there who's listening, businesses,
Yeah,
whatever, like,
yeah.
invite me in. We'll solve problems
We'll
for
solve
you.
problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
have a CPR mat
You
or a
might,
headache
yeah, I
patch.
was gonna
Headache
say,
patch,
you don't know
man.
what they might
These
create.
kids might create a solution that you've been asking
Yes,
questions
yes,
about for
please.
the 10 years,
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. Well, that's good stuff. How can people connect with you if they want to reach out and invite you in for one of those service
Mhm.
projects? How can they reach you?
So I have a super crazy email.
Let's hear it.
My name is Taylor Moody, but my county email is brownmoody.kimberly@newton.k12.ga.us.
We'll have to get that in the show notes, but
Yes. So
That's
people
okay.
can't find me.
Yeah.
Dr. Morrow couldn't find my email, so she had to find me on Facebook, which is just
Yeah.
Taylor Moody. You're more than welcome to add me. I do have a class Instagram where I share all the cool projects
That's awesome.
happening. And we are working on our podcast, so that'll be out there
Yeah.
soon.
Let's
That I'll
go.
post on my Instagram. But my Instagram is mstb_lit. Get it?
I
Literature.
like that.
that's not what I was
see.
thinking, but I
I
got
see
you.
what you did there, Taylor. That's why you the
Yes.
teacher of the year right there. I like that.
Yes.
Awesome. Good
So,
stuff.
and no TikTok yet? We don't have the
No,
school
I would love
TikToks or
to
anything?
start that, but maybe this will be my first when this
There you go.
airs. This will be my first TikTok post.
We're
There you
giving, we're
go.
giving you social media fodder. Here we go. That's love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for being here
Thank you.
today.
Thank you
taking
for
the,
having me
Absolutely.
and
the
allowing
time
me to
out.
have a voice.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, man.
amazing.
We want to hear from teachers like you who are the teacher of the year
That's
and
right.
finalists for the state teacher of the year. So, I mean, we want to highlight the work that you do, but also for all teachers. I mean, you're
Yeah,
advocating and
yeah.
you're representing all the teachers here
Absolutely.
in this community. So, thank you for doing that.
Thank you guys. Thank you.